Greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every weekend, same time, same station. You can't miss us. We're here, and we hope you are here too. We have a really good lineup of products today, of information, of featured topics, and more topics to help you understand more about your health and what you can do about it. No one ever talks about vitamins, minerals, nutrition, health in a doctor's office. It's all drugs. And while drugs can be necessary, they can be important when there's a critical condition that something has to be done ASAP, has to be done now, where nutrition takes time. When you change your diet, when you change your lifestyle choices, now you're going to be taking months, maybe weeks, to change your life. And if you've been hit by a car, you have a serious condition, you may have cancer, nutrition will help, but you need something else. And that's where drugs come in. They can be life-saving. They're there for an emergency. But your health is something that we can do. We, you and I, because nobody else can improve our health but you and I. It's up to us. We make the choices. We can live a healthy life, or we can burn the candle at both ends. And when you do either one, a healthy diet, choosing a healthy lifestyle, or burning the candle at both ends, is a choice. And we make that choice. But we have to live with the consequences of those choices. I would rather live with the consequences of good health than to burn the candle at both ends and then have all kinds of diseases, or more accurately, metabolic disorders. Our body does not have a disease. It's out of balance. It has a metabolic disorder brought about by a lack of health and a lack of healthy lifestyle choices and the nutrients that a healthy diet provides. If we don't get all the nutrients from our diet is out of order. There's an imbalance. And then that imbalance creates side effects. And the side effects can be corrected by a healthy diet. But no, all those side effects of not getting the right nutrients can only be corrected by drugs based on FDA regulations. Anything wrong with us, health-wise, is the responsibility of the drug companies based on FDA regulations. We can't provide the answers to your questions of health through health and nutrition, by diet, by exercise, by whatever it might be. We can't accomplish that at all. So the best thing for us to do is to learn as much as we possibly can from reading, from other health shows, from this health show, and learn how to put those choices together so that we have better health. So today we're going to talk about how to get a better night's sleep. Insomnia affects many, many people, a large portion of the population. And why do you need selenium? Do you know what selenium is? It's a mineral. And we need very, very little of that mineral. But if we don't have it, we have ill health. And the ill health comes up with symptoms and signs that we're not healthy. And if you go to a doctor, the doctor is going to prescribe a drug for you for your side effect of not having enough selenium. Isn't that crazy? You don't get enough vitamins and minerals, and that creates a deficiency. That creates side effects. And then the only ones that can help correct those side effects are doctors and drug companies. It's a monopoly. But yet they're all based on not getting enough nutrients. And then we're going to talk about what one person experienced with eggs. Eggs is a superfood. Eggs is one of the most perfect foods of all. 13 different vitamins and minerals. High quality protein. High quality fat. Eggs are a superfood. 3-4 eggs a day would work wonders. And then we're going to talk about severe obesity. And why do we have such fear of iron? The majority of the population, especially women and young teens, young teen girls, are deficient in iron. Why? And are we about to have a superbug crisis? And then we'll talk about adrenal extract. Your adrenals are two little bean-shaped sitting right on top of each kidney. They're little glands about the size of a kidney bean, weigh about 5 grams. But they're very, very powerful and very life-giving, health-giving, and it can change your life. If you're tired all the time, you're exhausted all the time, you have tremendous amount of stress, you just have a hard time getting through the day, you have very low blood pressure, and doctors are so accustomed to seeing high blood pressure that when they see low blood pressure, they say, oh, that's great. No, it's not great. There's a balance. You can't have low. You can't have high. It's got to be just right. And there are some people walking around like half dead because their blood pressure is down like 90/60. They're exhausted. They can't think straight. They cry all the time. They don't have any energy. Is that you? Are you like that? Well, that's why we're going to discuss adrenal extract. And now there's a scary increase in the number of strokes that our people are having. So we'll talk about all this and more right here on Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. So you'll learn a lot more today that I hope you can walk away with and have some ideas how you can make changes. Now let's go back to our topic of the day. Lots of Americans don't sleep well. 50 to 70 million Americans, millions of Americans have problems with sleep. Sleep loss. And that's not like going on 2 or 3 hours. Even getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night is very common, very unhealthy, and gets worse with increasing age. Now, there are some lifestyle causes. Shift work, swinging back from morning to a day shift to a night shift, alternating, a swing shift, or working at night when your body should be going to sleep. Your body sleeps at night, but you're working. And I understand That's the only choice you have, but it does affect your health. There's more cancer caused by working at night than daytime. And jet lag. Working long hours, leaving less time to sleep. Over the last 10 years, the number of people working at night, working night shifts, has grown by 24%. Now, the medical causes from all this changing of night shifts, working at night, has caused insomnia, the inability to sleep, not able to sleep quickly, or fall asleep fast, or stay asleep, or sleep 2 or 3 hours and wake and can't go back to sleep. Restless legs, sleep apnea, anxiety, or even depression and pain. 67% of those who rate their sleep quality as poor also rate their health as poor. I'm sure when you go to bed, you put your phone on charge. And that's why you're going to bed, because that's the only way you can repair your body is at night. Your body goes on charge. So you're repairing, rejuvenating, bringing back to health from the prior day. Now, a few things a lack of sleep can lead to. You may not think of this, but if you don't sleep well, and if you don't sleep enough hours, and what is enough hours? At least 8 to 9. And I know many people don't get anywhere from 5 to 7. That's going to affect your health, your body chemistry. And that increases your risk of cancer. Women who work rotating shifts, days to nights, and then again 2 days, have a 30% increased risk of breast cancer. We wonder where cancer comes from. And they're doing studies. They're doing research, spending billions and billions and billions of dollars. And so many people are contributing to donating to cancer research. Now, when you have rotating shifts, that increases the risk of breast cancer by 30%. Smoking increases all cancers by up to 40%. Obesity, being grossly overweight, increases the risk of breast cancer by 30%. Sometimes you wonder, why are they doing research when we know so many ways to stop and prevent cancer? But we wait and wait and wait, hoping, praying we never have cancer. But we live a lifestyle that increases the risk of cancer. It does not make sense to me. We have to be preventative. We have to work to make sure we don't increase the risk. We can do that. Get a good night's sleep. Or take something natural to get a good night's sleep. And find a job that maybe is more consistent with a daytime job. Maybe you can't. And I'm not saying anything about that's a necessity. Your family comes first. But if you can get a job that is more ideal with sleep and night shifts, all that will help. Not easy to do, I grant it. And I'm not picking on anybody for that. Now, even a 2010 study found a 50% increased risk of colon cancer in men sleeping less than 6 hours a night, as well as prostate cancer. Weight gain. The Nurses' Health Study found that women who slept less than 5 hours a night were 30% more likely to gain 30 pounds than women who slept 7 hours or more nightly. More cold and flu. Adults who sleep less than 6 hours a night have a 4 times increased risk of catching a cold or flu. And also a greater risk of type 2 diabetes. Healthy men who were restricted to just 4 hours of sleep per night for 4 nights saw their insulin activity decrease by 23%, a sign of insulin resistance. Now a greater risk of dying. Sleeping 5 hours or less per night increased the risk of dying from any cause by 15%. There's a reason why we want to learn how to sleep better. And there are ways of doing that. And I'll get to that in a moment. Hang on. Now here is something scary but true. Rare but real side effects from drugs that induce sleep, like Lunesta, Ambien, and other prescription sleeping medications. Do you know that people that take these drugs are drugged? They're not mildly put to sleep. They're not encouraged, the chemistry, to sleep. And these side effects, like sleeping and eating at the same time. Does that sound crazy? Well, these drugs do not help people sleep well. They drug the person. People who consume thousands of calories while sleeping, really, truly, waking up to find food wrappers in their beds. They empty the refrigerators. They have even used the oven at night or the stove at night and no memory of what happened. They got up in their sleep after being drugged and actually ate more food in the nighttime hours than the daytime hours. And driving at night or driving in the morning, still sleeping. People using Ambien, especially when combined with alcohol, have been found driving on the wrong side of the road, driving directly into obstacles, threatening police when arrested, and having no memory of how they left their house. And many times, they're driving in their PJs or their underwear. They just walk out of the house, get in their car, start driving down the road because they're still drugged. Don't be drugged. There's better ways. And until you can explore the better ways, I would suggest talk to your doctor. Safe sleep. Now, if you want safe sleep, it's possible. A popular suggestion, valerian. Valerian is an herb. But some people, perhaps as much as 10%, who try valerian, an herbal combination for sleep, find it stimulating, not calming. But if you want to try it, give it a whirl. It's much safer than drugs. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work and you're part of the 10%, not a problem. Switch to something more natural. But you can instead try about 125 to 250 milligrams of a concentrated plant oil, essential oils, about an hour before bedtime, such as mandarin orange, lemon balm, ravintsara, lavender. Mandarin relieves stress, settles the nervous system, and improves sleep. Lemon balm reduces anxiety, mild sedative, also reduces pain that can cause sleeplessness. Shown in a clinical study to reduce insomnia by 42%. Ravintsara, an herb, relieves insomnia, reduces depression, and stops nervous tension. And lavender, used for centuries to promote sleep. Approved in Germany for the use in tea to relieve insomnia and restlessness. So these are natural alternatives. They're not drugs. They're essential oils. They're herbal complexes that can help you sleep better. And my favorite is melatonin. I take melatonin about sunset. And why do I take it at sunset? As it gets dark, that's a triggering sign for the pineal gland to release melatonin into the body chemistry, into the bloodstream. So it's nighttime, the darkness, that sends a signal to our pineal gland, release melatonin. And it works for sleep. Some people don't get the benefits. Then you switch to a combination of the essential oil, like mandarin orange, lemon balm, ravintsara, lavender. These are 4 essential oils that are powerful to relieve insomnia and restlessness. And many times I find when people go to bed at night and they fall asleep without a problem, and they sleep 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, and they pop wide awake. What makes them wake up? Well, perhaps when they went to bed, before going to bed, they sat around and snacked foods, a lot of carbohydrates, potato chips, corn chips, whatever, all carbohydrates. Well, that causes a sugar spike. That sugar spike goes up. And when it comes down about 3 or 4 hours later, it crashes. And when it crashes, you pop wide awake. And you can't go back to sleep. I found a very good solution for many, many people. And on the surface, it sounds dumb. But it works. Don't lay there, toss and turn and being restless. You're not getting a good night's sleep. So get up, go into the kitchen, get a small slice of cheese, real cheese, not the artificial cheese, but real cheese, and a tablespoon of nut butter. And after you consume the cheese and the nut butter, go back to bed. And 90% of the time you'll fall back to sleep and sleep well the rest of the night. Because you relieved your crashing of the blood sugar. Your blood sugar dropped down below normal. And you have hypoglycemia. And the fat of the cheese and the fat of the nut butter and the protein will bring up the blood sugar level so you can sleep well. It's a silly, dumb, but it works. I've had 90% of the people try it, and they all said, wow, it made a huge difference. Try it. Now, what is selenium? S-E-L. E-N like Nancy, I-U-M like Mary. Selenium. Well, it's a key mineral and it is a trace mineral and also a very effective antioxidant. Some of the best food sources that are rich in selenium: Brazil nuts, tuna, oysters, pork, beef, chicken. Why is it so important? Well, hang on. I'll tell you why it is so important right after these messages right here on Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally, and we have a lot more coming your way until the top of the hour. So stay there. I'll be right back after these messages. Okay, my friends, we're back. And now we're back for another half hour up to the top of the hour with more information, more knowledge, more understanding, more education on how you can be healthy. It works. I absolutely know it works in my own life and in the life of many others that I have met when I travel across the country doing lectures. People have changed their life. The only way you're going to change your health is to change your life, change your diet. Change. You can't continue doing what you're doing and expect to change. If you're sick, 90% of that sickness is caused by your lifestyle choices. 98% is caused by your choices of lifestyle, how you sleep, how you exercise, what you eat, how you live. All that tells you what your body health is going to be. So you can make those changes. But now it's going to take maybe 3 to 6 months, depending how bad off you are when you start. Sometimes you'll see changes in weeks, but sometimes it'll take months, depending how bad your conditions are. But I would give it at least 3 months. But with all these suggestions on how to sleep better and why you should take selenium, the number one foundation for your health is your diet, what you eat. All the nutrients in the food that you eat actually communicates with the cells in the body and tells the body to be healthy and to create new healthy genes and to balance the body chemistry. And if you eat bad food, unhealthy food, deficient food, there's no nutrients there to tell the body what to do to be healthy. So you become unhealthy because you have no direction. The food that you're eating does not have sufficient quantities of vitamins and minerals and the other accessory food factors. Now, when we went into the break, we were talking about selenium, a trace mineral. And why is it so important? Well, first of all, it's the key mineral. Now, when I say key mineral, these minerals, vitamins, polyphenols, and other nutrients that should be in our food affects glands, organs, and body functions to make them healthy and to respond in a healthy condition. And selenium is a key nutrient to improve thyroid hormone function and its metabolism. It's for the thyroid. Iodine is for the thyroid. Selenium helps produce the thyroid hormone, thyroxine, with iodine and L-tyrosine. It is one of the most important minerals for immune system function. If your immune system is underactive, watch out. Cold and flu is going to be a common occurrence in your lifestyle. And worse, because all of our diseases have some direct, indirect communication with the immune system. And it also has an effect on the DNA synthesis, cancer prevention and protection, fertility and reproduction. We need selenium. How much do we need? At least 65 micrograms. That's mcg, not milligrams, just micrograms. If you ate 3 Brazil nuts, you would have enough selenium for the day. But you need it every day. So you should be taking at least 65 micrograms, and you never want to exceed 400 micrograms. The safety and the toxicity of selenium is a very narrow window. It gives you superior results, superior health at a low dose. At a high dose, you may become toxic. So you want to stay under 400 micrograms. The FDA has said that if you take 200 micrograms, you could reduce the risk of cancer and heart disease. Now, some signs of selenium deficiency and signs you may need more selenium. Your hair falls out, extreme fatigue, weight gain, sick all the time. And selenium deficiency is associated with increased risk of bacterial and viral infections. They did studies with animals, and they had 2 groups of animals. One group got the normal chow for that species of animals. Both did. There was 2 different groups. One got plenty of selenium, and I say plenty, I don't mean the toxic level, but just 65, maybe 100, maybe 200 micrograms. The other half of the animals got the same kind of food or chow and no selenium. Then they gave them an injection of a viral infection. So all the animals were subjected to viral infection. The animals that got plenty of selenium fared very well. None of them got sick or died. The animals that did not get selenium, it was not found in their diet at all. All of the animals died. So how do you take selenium? For thyroid function. And why do I say for thyroid function? Because all these symptoms I just gave you, like hair falling out, fatigue, weight gain, sick all the time, all these symptoms are of a low thyroid function. That means your thyroid is not operating at a peak optimal level. You're not dying, but sometimes maybe you feel that way. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't stop gaining weight. My hair is falling out. I feel sick all the time. Well, you don't want to feel that way. And those are symptoms of a low thyroid. We can still survive, we can still live, but in a pitiful way. The thyroid contains a higher concentration of selenium than any other part of the body. Hear that. The thyroid contains a higher concentration of selenium than any other part of the body. And it's really effective if you have plenty of selenium to decrease the risk of bacterial and viral infection. So how much should you take? Well, for thyroid function, about 300 micrograms of selenium with 30 milligrams of iodine and 400 milligrams of L-tyrosine. Now, iodine is a mineral. It's something we need to improve thyroid function. And we have been led to believe that a bare minimum of iodine would be enough. But after much research by a conglomerate of researchers and scientists, they came up with a dosage of 30 milligrams per day of iodine and 400 milligrams of L-tyrosine. Now that combination of iodine and L-tyrosine produces thyroxine of the thyroid, Make your own. This is the recipe to make your own thyroxine, the hormone of the thyroid gland. Doctors prescribe it. Why not feed it what it needs in natural nutrients to produce your own natural thyroxine? And for immune benefits. Even farmers know this. Farmers that have cattle that are sick, the first thing they think about is selenium, that the cows are not getting enough selenium in their feed for the immune system. So they have infection. If you have viral or bacterial infection, you need more selenium. 65 micrograms daily, at least. I like to take more. I like to take somewhere between 200 micrograms and 400, but at least 65 daily. Plus other nutrients as well, like zinc. Zinc and selenium are the two most powerful minerals to improve the quality of the immune system. And during COVID, many people were put on a ventilator and died. And the research shows that the reason they died, not because of the ventilator, but because they gave them a ventilator in a deficiency of zinc. With no zinc, the ventilator killed them. Now, there are 4 vitamins. Vitamin A, not beta-carotene, vitamin A. There's a big, big difference. Beta-carotene can possibly convert to vitamin A, but it's not always assured, not always going to happen, and some people don't have the chemistry to convert beta-carotene into vitamin A. Vitamin C, vitamin D, like dog, C like Charlie, A like apple, and E like Edward, A, C, D, E, along with zinc and selenium. That's the natural way to boost your immune system. Fortunately, we have a lot of botanicals, like Andrographis, elderberry, are all antiviral, antibacterial. But first of all, we don't know if we would ever have found them in nature. But the vitamins are the most crucial for building up your immune system. Make sure you get plenty of zinc, selenium, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E. You might even look for a formula like that has those 6 nutrients to boost your immune system. Now, here's one person's experiment with eggs. Eggs, my superfood, after olive oil, I might say. Last night for dinner, I got home late. I didn't want to cook anything. I was tired. I was up 3:30 in the morning. I was in the office by 5. Oh, and I had worked for about an hour before I left home on some emails. I had a long day. I didn't feel like cooking when I got home. So I opened up a can of salmon. Put it in a bowl. I poached 2 eggs, put that on top of the salmon, and mixed them all together, and topped it off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Man, what a delicious, nutritious dish. About 40 grams of protein, no sugar or carbohydrates, 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and 33 grams of protein from the salmon, and EPA and DHA. One of the most nutritious combinations you can imagine. Now, I eat for health. I eat for nutrition. Some people say, oh, I don't think I want to eat that. I understand. But think of those things, how you can improve your diet, improve the meal you're eating to get all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you require. Eggs have 13 vitamins and minerals. Now, the effect of eggs on cholesterol levels. First of all, we need cholesterol. And we need it so badly that the creator of our body instilled a method, a mechanism that produces cholesterol in our body. And I believe, fully, truly convinced, that if our body makes something, we need that something to be healthy. We wouldn't make something bad. To have a healthy body, we need cholesterol. So don't worry about cholesterol in food. Many studies have already proven that you can't eat cholesterol and add it to the bloodstream. It's not going to work that way. So cholesterol is healthy because it produces all our vitamin D. It produces our hormones. We are male and female based on cholesterol because it produces testosterone in men. It produces estrogen in women naturally. So cholesterol is healthy. It's our friend. And if you start taking statin drugs to lower cholesterol, and now I ran into a lady not too long ago, the doctors wanted her cholesterol at 70. That's just crazy. I don't know why. It used to be a natural level at 300. Then they got it down to 240, and then 200. Now 70? I don't think any other doctor would agree with that. Something's not right. Maybe she misunderstood. I don't. But she told me, yes, the doctor said I have to get it down to 70. Good Lord. What are we coming to? Sometimes I think, I don't know. I don't want to get into those controversial subjects. But anyway, eggs. Now, there was a medical student at Harvard University who decided to try an experiment on himself to see what happened to his cholesterol levels if he ate a huge amount of eggs. Now, over the course of 1 month, 30 days, he ate 24 eggs every day, 720 eggs in the month, yielding 133,200 milligrams of dietary cholesterol. You would think he was a time bomb for heart attacks or stroke. After the first 2 weeks of this, he added 60 grams of carbohydrates daily, equivalent to 2 bananas and 1 ounce of blueberries. So the results of this study, a personal study, is LDL, the bad cholesterol. Now let me tell you what bad cholesterol. First of all, LDL, low density lipoprotein, is not cholesterol. It's a carrier. It's a protein that carries cholesterol. Now, there are 2 different kinds of cholesterol in the LDL pattern. You have pattern A and pattern B. Now, the cholesterol that is known as pattern A is fluffy, like cotton balls, airy and fluffy, no density, very mild. But now pattern B is very, very dense, a very hard volume, and a high density of cholesterol. So it's like BBs compared to the cotton ball. And the volume and the density of the cholesterol is what makes it bad. So unless you know what pattern you have as an LDL, it doesn't make any difference. If your doctor says, we got to get your cholesterol down, why? Do you know all the fractions? Do you know the LDL? Do you know the HDL? You know, if your cholesterol, for women, it should be over 50 for the HDL. For men, it should be over 40. And there are not many people that can raise their good cholesterol, the HDL, but there are some good ways to do that. Phospholipids and polypeptides and EPA and DHA found in the head of the salmon, now available in tablet form, can increase your HDL significantly. And every time you increase it by 1%, you decrease heart disease by 3%. In a study on this very rare form of omega-3 from the head of the salmon on 24 subjects, all women, because they have the hardest time to raise their HDL, and it should be over 50. They all raised, 24 women all raised their cholesterol level, their HDL, the good, over 50. And one woman in the study was pregnant, and she was in the low 40s. And by the time the study was done, her good cholesterol was in the 90s. She has still continued to stay on the combination of EPA and DHA and the polypeptides and the phospholipids from salmon, the head of the salmon, because that is the most effective form of omega-3 based on phospholipids. And she still has stayed in the 70s for over 5 years. Now, his LDL in this experimental study with the gentleman from Harvard actually dropped his LDL by 18%. An egg is a super source of nutrition. 6 grams of protein plus choline, which breaks down fat, vitamin D, B vitamins, zinc, and selenium, which we just talked about, and no sugar, no carbohydrates, no artificial ingredients, and relatively inexpensive compared to most food. You're getting a household, biologically active form of all these vitamins and minerals and proteins and superior fats. I try to get at least 3 to 6 eggs a day. Very, very nutritious, very healthy, one of the best sources of iron, biologically a form of iron, excellent. Now we're heading to a time of severe obesity. If we don't change the direction that we're going in, and if we don't make some real changes in how we live, by the year 2060, everybody in America will be obese. What does that say? This world is crumbling. So the rates of severe obesity are increasing rapidly. There's not a single state where the obesity rate is less than 25%, with the exception of Colorado, which is officially 24.9. Probably over now. Before 2013, no state had an obesity rate that high. We're getting fatter and fatter and fatter by the year. The overall U.S. obesity rate is around 40%. 48% for the black community, 44% for the Hispanic community, and 42% for Americans, Caucasians, the white. A number that has been about the same for the last several years. However, the severe obesity rates have continued to increase. Severe obesity is associated with the highest levels of cardiovascular disease and diabetes, the lowest quality of life. But what about Ozempic? Well, experts say that while weight loss drugs like Ozempic are moving people from severe obesity to obese, but many will still have a BMI over 30 and therefore are still considered obese and unhealthy. So that's why we make better choices. Change your diet. I'm writing a little booklet on the ketogenic diet because I am so convinced that almost every disease imaginable, every overweight person, every person that has ill health, based on the ketogenic diet, if followed properly, will have a new lease on life within 30 to, I would say probably 30 days to 90 days. Your life will change drastically. I'll let you know when my little booklet is out. I'm in the process of writing it right now. But right now, I guess I'm leaving you. But I'll be back. I'm going to be back here same time, same station, until God knows when. So say a prayer for this crazy world. We've got to make it better. How do we do that? Well, think about it. Make your choice. God bless you, my friends. And God bless this great country.
Thank you for listening to Terry Talks Nutrition Weekly Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.